Greetings, friends. This tutorial is going to take you through 5 basic skills of using Google Calendar. 5 basic tools, basic things that you should use, great things, especially if you're an administrator or an office professional using Google Apps for education. So I'm going to start with I've got my little list here of 5 things. And I'm going to dig in to Calendar, starting with basic settings. If you've never used Google Calendar before, if you have, you may find that even these settings should be tweaked. So let me go to my menu here, my gear, and go to my settings. Now, just let me do a little rundown here. Obviously, I'm English, which is great. I want to use English. I'm in the country of the United States. But here's one thing that I would double check to make sure you have. And normally, you think this is set, but a lot of times I'm finding that people have an alternate time zone set in their calendar. So double check to make sure that's Central Time. Your date format, make sure that's the way you want it. Your time, if it's regular time or Army time, that's up to you. Your default meeting length. When you set up a calendar appointment, you can set it to 25 minutes or more. I like 25 because it gives me a little bit before, a little bit after a 30-minute meeting. Week starts on Monday for me. It's up to you how you want that to work. You can set your working hours. I just consider myself always working, so I never change that. The next thing I would show my weekends is these 2 things down here. Show events you have declined. So if somebody sends you an invitation, no, I don't want to see that in my calendar. It clutters up my calendar. So I hit no on that. And then automatically add invitations to my calendar. If you are part of a shared calendar, you may see those things automatically added. But what I don't want to do is see event reminders unless I've responded yes or maybe, because sometimes I'll get event reminders about stuff that I don't know what I don't even know what it is. And so that's a good thing to check. And then I'm going to go ahead and save that. So those are some basic calendar settings there. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go over just 4 more basic things. And the next thing I'm going to do is go over just quick adding events. So if you're in calendar and you're in a rush and you want to just throw something in there without doing an entire event with all these different options, just do the quick add, which is that drop arrow. And for me, I'm just going to put lunch with admins and noon on Friday and hit add. So it says right there, added lunch with admins on Friday, July 25th at 12 p.m. And I can double check that by going down here. Great. All right, another calendar skill, which is great to have, is when you're creating a big event, and you create the create there, and let me do this one again. This time, I'm going to be a little bit more thorough about it. We want this to be noon to 2 p.m. And we want this to be on Friday. But this time, I'm going to put in a location, which is Panera Bread, and in Deer Park. And I'm going to enter an email address because I want to add guests. Now, when I start adding guests, what I'm going to do is they are going to get an email when I hit save on this. So just for the moment, I could put a description in there as well. I could put in reminders for myself. But what I'm going to do then is going to hit save. And what's going to happen is it's going to ask me if I want to invite external guests. Or I can continue editing. Now what's going to happen is then they're going to get an email that says, hey, you've been invited to an event. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is an invitation to a sample event. And it says yes, maybe, or no. Are you going to go? If you say yes, it will show up in your calendar. If you say no, it won't, because that's what we set previously. Okay, a couple other things. The other thing I want to do is show you how to share your calendar with others. So in this particular instance, I'm just going to go through my own particular calendar, and I'm going to I'm going to create a new sample calendar. But this is going to be a calendar specifically for, let's see, tech pedagogy. And I'm just going to invite a couple of teachers that work on me with technology pedagogy in the classroom. You could add a description. But here's where I'm going to make, this is going to be different. If I want to share this calendar with others, I can then share it with specific people like Arturo, one of my other tech folk. Let me get the right one in there. It's me, it's Arturo, and it might be like another teacher. Now, if I'm only adding specific people on there, I'm not making it public because this is a calendar that just me and those people are working together on and collaborating with. So I don't want this calendar to be public. But if it were a calendar that like an all-school calendar, then yes, I would want to make that public. It would give me a link I could share with others so that they could see all the events. But this is how to share a calendar with others and adding others individually. And then you create that calendar, and now you have something, you have a new calendar to share with others. Okay, the last skill that I think is at least really important in this particular session is to make sure you understand that there is a video attached to any event. So if you create an event, and for this I'm just going to call it sample event, and let's say I want this to be on Thursday at 3 p.m. Let me make that 3 to 4. Now here's the thing. There's a join meeting that is now attached to every call, and I want this to be a video call, not an in-person meeting. And I could change the video call name to tech pedagogy chat or something like that. It's really, you can have fun with it if you want to. Again, then you can now add a guest. So if you had a guest you wanted to be a part of that, now they're going to be able to click on that link when they get the email. So let me go ahead and finish sharing this event, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. Okay, so you can see in my sample event, I've gone into my email and I've gotten an invitation. And it says yes, maybe, or no. Am I going to go? And if I say yes, it'll go into my calendar. It'll open my calendar and go right in there. If I say, oh, and by the way, there is also the link to the video call. So I could simply, if it were time for me to start this and it were a couple minutes to 3 o'clock, I could click on the Hangout link and it would open up for me right away. And I would be looking at the other person on the other side, and we would be having our video call. So it's integrated very nicely into Google Calendar and Gmail. So that is really all she wrote, but I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, certainly let me know. Thanks again.